Hello, my name's Ben,
And my name is Josh.
and welcome back to FPL Graduates.
So, Ben, Game Week 30. We're doing this a little bit weird. I forgot the deadline was last night. So I was planning for this morning to be our actual deadline live. So we're going to be live today anyway, get a bit of content out. Obviously, we had Wolves versus Leeds last night. Leeds winning 3-2. Obviously, Wolves dominated that first half. Jimenez gets sent off in like the 55th minute or something. And then it all went south from there. Who did you own, Ben? Was it a good night for you?
I think you know. How it went.
Maybe.
So I owned Raul Jimenez, and I also owned Max Kilman for a total of -2 points off 2 players.
That's a good start. Yeah, a lot of people were saying about Jimenez in the TikTok live I did yesterday, and for me, he's just been a bit of a catfish asset this season. I think he has 4 returns in his last 17 game weeks. Obviously, the red card is not expected, but I think in terms of his actual performances, they've been quite lackluster. So for me, I had Cody and Sarr, and I think it's the only game weeks that Sarr hasn't picked up a save point. He looked awful last night when they conceded the second. He was literally not even on the goal line, which is great. So if you owned any Wolves players bar Johnny or Trincao and Podence, I think a couple of people had him. You did well, but yeah, I don't think anyone expected Leeds to come back from 2-0. We'll get into any questions that anyone has, and we'll also go into our teams as well. We've got Shiv in here, Aryan, Kelly, a few of you guys in here. So yeah, this one's going to be a little bit different because we can't really preview a game week because it's obviously kicked off now, the deadline. But we'll look forward to today's games and tomorrow's games and stuff like that. So Ben, do you want to show us your team and how it's looking? Not really.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to, aren't I? So, let me just get it up for you. So this is what I'm currently looking like right now. And as much as Josh had the foresight to tell us that Jimenez was a bad pick, I genuinely do believe that he was unlucky not to get like a 10-pointer last night. And as much as Josh is shaking his head, I think Raul Jimenez had a couple of really decent opportunities that he probably should have finished off. So it's just the variance of FPL. He could have either come out with 2 goals and like 3 bonus points, or what happened, which was the red card. Like on another day, he might have come out of there with 10 points. You never know. So yes, it's very frustrating, and it's probably now an easy sell for me for next week. But it is slightly frustrating because I do feel like we could have made some gains on Raul Jimenez. Same with Max Kilman as well. I mean, like I knew that there was a big chance he wasn't going to play. I said this before. When Bolly came back, he played so well that I thought it was his place to lose. And I was surprised that Kilman even played the last game, if I'm being honest. And didn't play this game. Might have a case now with Wolves conceding 3 to come back into that team. The fact that they were so poor defensively and Kilman wasn't on the pitch, I think bodes a bit better for Kilman now. But, the Wolves' defensive stats have fallen off a cliff over the last few weeks. So, it's another one where you're kind of looking, should I sell and when should I sell him? But, yeah, the other players in my team this week, I transferred out Stuart Armstrong after sort of his good performance in that double game week for me, and brought in Harvey Barnes for exact money. I have nothing in the bank now, and I think Barnes, underlying stats should be doing decent for mid and long term anyway. But yeah, like the rest of the team, Dawson, don't expect many points from him. I'm hoping that the Tottenham boys can do the job. And then, yeah, I've got a couple of Villa boys today, as well as Bukayo Saka, who it's really up in the air whether Saka's actually injured or not. Some people are saying that he's injured, and I've seen photos of him in training yesterday. So I'm not too sure what to think. But, it's going to be a very low-scoring week, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's obviously you saved the free hit chip, but this week I don't think you're going to get a lot of points anyway. If you free hit it, it's just going to be a big gain on the people who obviously didn't, because they're not going to have a lot of players playing. Heard about Ramsdale also not being fit. He wasn't pictured in training yesterday, Whether that's true or not, it's a rumor, so I'll take it with a pinch of salt.
I think you got to, because the training photos that we did see was a squad altogether minus all the goalkeepers. So it's like the goalkeepers could easily be doing like their own thing at training. So another one I wouldn't look too deep into right now. Hopefully he plays.
Exactly, yeah. So any rumours, like, you can't do anything about them now anyway, so it makes almost no difference to your team. But yeah, your team, I think it looks decent on paper considering the game week. Obviously, there's only 4 games this week, so not a lot to choose from. But yeah, Kilman's a weird one. I think we all knew he probably got rotated, so if he was on a free hit, you wouldn't have gone with him. Like Barnes, though. Barnes in my team. We'll come onto my team in a minute. Obviously, Kane captain. He's the only player that's above 100% ownership this week, or effective ownership, so to say. So he's the only needed one, really, I'd say. Some other big hitters, I think, this week. Saka's at like 85% ownership, so having him's quite important. But yeah, we'll get into my team and then we'll come to some questions if anyone has any. We'll go into mine now. So I'm on 2 points, if you can see it.
Sorry, I just added my team again.
So I'm on 2 points this week. As I said, I have the Wolves double up. I played the free hit this week, so I would have had like 4 players playing, I think. So much needed. So yes, as I said, Sarr in goal was absolutely terrible. Like, he was just not in goal for the 3 goals pretty much. Cody as well. I thought he played quite well. Like, he did his best, clearing shots off the line and stuff, but no one else wanted to help him. But yeah, I was always going to double up because I thought, it could be great considering, like, with a free hit, you need to take advantage of what people don't have. No one would have had a Wolves double up really. So I went with both of them. Obviously didn't pay off, but that's just one of those things. Regulon I've chosen over Doherty just because I think he's nailed at the minute while Sessegnon's out, and he also looks a bit better going forward. He's got an assist against United. He scored as well, and I think in the last game. So he's looking quite good going forward. Tierney as well, going forward, looking good. I've chosen him over Ramsdale just for the attack and returns. I think Villa, because they get their fullback so high, we could see him benefit from that a little bit. So he's in there over Ramsdale. We've got Son in there over Kulusevski. Son's underlying stats are as good, if not better, than Kulusevski's. So it's just a matter of time before he returns. Bukayo Saka, as I said, over 80% effective ownership at my rank. He's in my own team as well. Even if he doesn't play, a size 1 point will probably come on for him. So, not a lot of points to play with right now this game week. Going to double up in midfield of Leicester, of Maddison and Barnes. Barnes played like 98 minutes on Thursday. Maddison came off the bench at 60. So it's an interesting one. I think having both sort of covers both ends, and Maddison could always haul if he plays. I think he's got 4 double-digit hauls this season, and Barnes has been arguably their best player underlying stats-wise in the last 6 game weeks. Harry Kane captaincy was never in doubt. Definitely the best captaincy option this week. Hopefully he can continue his form. I think that West Ham team might struggle after that big 120 minutes against Sevilla. So hopefully Kane can capitalise on that. And he's looked really good in the recent game weeks. I've gone with Lacazette and Tony up front. Tony, 5 goals in his last 2 games, 3 of them being penalties, facing one of the worst defences in the league in Leicester. Even with those penalties, though, he's had chances from that penalty if he wasn't taken down, because he's the one who winning them. So, and also Eriksen in the team as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does against that defence. And then Lacazette as well, the assist merchant up top. Villa today, lunchtime kickoff. I'm looking forward to the Villa-Arsenal game. I've sort of tripled up on the Arsenal, no Villa assets other than cash on the bench. So hoping for a big Arsenal victory, but it could actually swing to Villa. It was just, with a free hit, I'm thinking you just got to go all in. I don't want to spread. I just want to go all in, and then you see either tremendous upside or just probably the same points as that everyone else is getting who's not free hitting. So it's a risk, but one worth taking in my opinion. What's your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, I think overall it's a strong free hit team and very template. The only thing I would say is potentially like Villa are a different team when they're at home compared to when they play away. So I think it's a risk not having like at least like Coutinho maybe in for Maddison or something like that, because I do think like Villa have the potential of scoring against Arsenal, especially as Arsenal played Wednesday night and they're now playing the early kickoff on Saturday. So I think that is a bit of a risk, and I'm probably saying that because I've got to double up on the Villa boys. But yeah, like it's a very decent team. We had different strategies going into this. I didn't want a free hit. I wanted to save it for a week where I think I could capitalize more on it. But yeah, like, let's see how this goes, because I think it's a guaranteed green arrow regardless.
Yeah, I was going to say, even with those 2 points last night that I got, I'm on, I think, a 4K green arrow. So, like, although they're little points, they are proving quite big in terms of the rank. I think I'm at 40K now after that first game. In fact, I'd probably bring it up on live FPL if I've got it open. Can you see that here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it? 3K green arrow, 6%. Off of 2 points, which is crazy. So to think if they did get a clean sheet, it would have been pretty massive. In terms of the effective ownerships, Maddison's big differential as Regulon, but Doherty is also quite highly owned. Tony, I'm interested. What's your thoughts on Brentford? Obviously they've had a few good fixtures. Do you think Eriksen coming into that team makes Tony a better asset?
Yes, I think it does. I think, like, Eriksen is proven to have world-class qualities in terms of playmaking. So I think Tony will only thrive off that. I also do think, though, that Tony's recent numbers are a bit unsustainable. So hopefully you can sort of keep that up for like one more week and then sort of drop off from there. It's probably what you're hoping for. I think against that Leicester defence, there's always a chance, especially Leicester's form away from home.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's a nice differential as well. Like I said, like, not a lot of people own him, so even if he does get a goal, that could definitely boost us up the ranks this week. We'll get into some little questions in the comments. Shiv says he's got the same starting team as Josh with Coutinho on the bench. Great minds think alike there. Kelly said she didn't have Kilman play. Fair play. You were also in the same boat. What's your thoughts on him? Are you going to sell him? Because you obviously said, like, Wolves conceded 3, so there is every chance that he might play.
Well, I think for next week, everyone's team is going to look so strong that it's a very good case to just put him first on the bench or something like that.
Yeah,
but I think he either plays 90 or he doesn't play at all. Traditionally, centre backs don't get subbed on in FPL, and next week there's a lot of really nice fixtures, especially for defenders and the premiums. I'm having benching headaches already about who I'm going to bench. So at the moment, I've currently got 2 of the Wolves boys on the bench and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it's like it's a case of sort of working out whether you think it's worth it. If you think they're going to keep the clean sheet, then do it. But you know, at this moment in time, you could probably get away with putting him like first on the bench.
Yeah, definitely agree. Shiv's asking who is doubling next week. So next week it's just Everton and Burnley. Everton are facing West Ham and Burnley, and then Burnley are facing Man City and Everton. So those double game weeks, they don't really excite me too much. I have Cornet as my only doubler at the minute. Are you going to look towards maybe like an Everton asset? Obviously, the last time everyone brought them in as a double, they failed dramatically. So are you looking towards the doubles, or do you think they're a bit naff?
I think they're a bit naff to sort of go for any of them. I won't have any of them. I doubt it. I think I'm more tempted to roll my transfer than go for one of those boys.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The only reason I have Cornet is because he's been in there since his doubles before. So this is my team for next week. If we have a quick look through, obviously this is not for another 14 days because there's an international break in between. So obviously injuries and stuff like that may occur, but let's see how it goes. So we've got Sanchez in goal, Norwich at home. I've got Himmel, Ramsdale at Palace away, but I think Palace at home are a really good side and tend to do quite well. So I've opted for Sanchez. Robertson and Trent, the double up. I expect Trent to be back for Watford at home. I think it's one of those international break injuries where he's just going to be fit magically for the next game back. Needs a bit of a rest. Thiago Silva, Brentford at home. Potentially look to upgrade to Reece James. He's back in training now, been called up for England as well. So we'll wait and see with that one. Cancelo, Burnley away, lovely fixture. We have the triple up on Spurs, all at Newcastle at home. So I'm hoping for a good result there. Newcastle probably, well, as expected, dipping off a little bit after a really, really nice run. Sort of made them quite safe now. So they don't really, I think it's not as needed to get those points. So they're sort of relaxed a little bit. Cornet, as I mentioned, Man City at home, Everton at home. He's there because he's going to probably get at least 4 points. So it's not too bad of an option to have when he's already in my team. I wouldn't transfer him in though if you were looking to get a double. Saka with Palace away, he's been really, really good for Arsenal this season. A lot of people yesterday were asking Saka or Martinelli, and I just always feel like Martinelli looks good, but he never really gets those returns. Saka seems to get those returns quite consistently. And then we've got Salah on the captaincy, Watford at home, hoping for big things from him. And nice to have him back as well. And then, yeah, as I said, the double with Spurs attack. And then Ramsdale on the bench, Brozier, Willock, Dennis. It generally could potentially be a bench boost week if you've got a team good enough to do it. I'm probably going to wait for 36 because that's going to be a huge double game week. But yeah, that is my team. It's going to be a good weekend at Ben with the fixtures that we've got.
Yeah, I think there's always potential for this game week to pop off. Sort of the big teams all have very, very nice fixtures, like Burnley away for City, Watford at home for Liverpool, and Brentford at home for Chelsea. Crystal Palace away for Arsenal is a bit more of a tough one, I think. But yeah, there's so many good fixtures. I'll go into my team then for the next game week. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. Obviously, we've got sort of 14 days or so till the deadline, so we've got a bit of a while yet. But at the moment, it's like set up like this. Gaeta in goal.
Before he's benched.
Before he's benched, probably. If I bench him myself, he'll get a 10-pointer. Cancelo, Dawson, and Rudiger. I mean, Dawson at home to Everton's quite a nice fixture, isn't it? Like, I think he could do quite well. Rudiger as well. I think it's a good one to have in there. Midfield, Ramsey, Wolves away. It's a tough fixture. Potential to probably bench him, but we'll see. Kulusevski, Saka, Barnes is in there because I think Leicester United could be goals in that. Salah at home to Watford. We'll see if he plays or not. And then Kane and Watkins up front. Captain, I haven't really thought about too much. And then on the bench at the moment, it's Trent, Kilman and Jimenez because I'm sure about whether Trent will play. But I imagine closer to the deadline, he'll be in the team just because it's Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then, yeah, like as I said, like Kilman's currently on my bench. So that's how I set up. Not really thought too much about it. Could be one where I roll the transfer. Could be one where I transfer out Jimenez. Jimenez actually went up in price last night, so we can afford to wait to sell him again.
Yes, it's good stuff, that is. We'll come on to Deck here. He says he had 9 players, but decided to free hit as the guy at the top in his mini league is 20 points ahead, and he only has 6 and didn't play, so he went aggressive. I think that's quite a good move, to be fair. Obviously, you could potentially save it for a better game week in terms of more doubles, but I think other than game week 36, there isn't really going to be a game week with like the amount of doubles that we've seen in like the last couple of game weeks. What's your thoughts on a free hit? When do you think you'll play it?
I think I've got my strategy. Hang on.
He's getting his homework.
So what I said for myself is game week 33 is a small double, so I want to free hit then. And then game week 34 or 35, I want to wild card into a bench boost in game week 36. That's my idea, but we'll see.
Yeah, and for me, I think wild carded, I can't remember now, it might have been 23, setting myself, or 24, setting myself up for these doubles that we've just had. Like last game, I think I scored 110, which was the plan initially. And then obviously a free hit this game week, so I wouldn't have any players playing. And then the bench boost, I'm sort of just going to pick and choose when I use it because it's not a chip that you can really maximize unless you're going to do what like Ben's doing with a wild card straight before it. But I think for me, I wanted the wild card earlier because you can make more out of wild card in your team for a longer period of time. Ben's only going to have 4 game weeks, but it's still a good strategy. It's just how we both decided to play this year, a little bit different, which is always nice because we do have a lot of similar players most of the time. So it's nice to see that we go in different ways. James Justin is going to perform some magic for me. I chose him over a Wolves defender. I was looking at Pereira. He was obviously on the bench for Leicester on Thursday. What's your thoughts on the Leicester defender? Because they're definitely not there for their clean sheet potential.
Well, I like the James Justin pick for vibes, and I think
nostalgia pick.
We've seen before, like they focus heavily on their fullbacks. So if Leicester can sort of find their form, and I think the reason why they've been struggling so much this season is because they haven't had sort of regular fullbacks fit. So I'd say, yeah, like go for it and let's see what happens. Like they're going to have a few double game weeks coming up. So for the long term, if you haven't got a wild card free hit, something like that, I think it could be a good move.
Yeah, definitely. Kelly's asking here, maybe DCL or Richarlison next week. So she's looking at maybe bringing in an Everton attacker, which is interesting. What's your thoughts on Everton? They obviously managed to get that late winner against Newcastle. Do you reckon they're going to pick it up from now?
I don't know. I wasn't convinced by them all game, if I'm being honest. For me, I'd still try and avoid the Everton assets. I think trying to get one in for next week is just sort of just forcing it, in my opinion. I think you could get away with no doublers in the next game week.
I agree. I think if I was going to pick someone, it'd probably be Anthony Gordon, like 4.5 million, cheapest chips. You could easily bench him, and he's looked all right. Not necessarily. It's slim pickings in the Everton team, so yeah, I'm not sure if I'd go for a DCL or a Richarlison. I think they're a bit too expensive, personally. But yeah, I think that will probably wrap up this video, this game week preview in the game week. We'll be providing a lot more YouTube content in the next couple of weeks, won't we, Ben?
Yeah, we will. And we're looking forward to it. The content is going to be ramped up and we're going to, provide a lot more and a lot better quality content for you guys. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, good luck everyone with the last couple of games of this game week. There's only 4, which is crazy to say. But yeah, we hope you have a good game week and we'll probably be seeing you next week over on YouTube and obviously every day basically on the other socials. Definitely check us out on Instagram, TikTok and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and as always, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.